My name is Cindy and I am an energetic stepping and wholeness counselor, and today I am back again with Patrick Moulin. And Patrick, he told me how to do the sacred crystal sound treatment, which is a very nice and unique experience to relax, re-energize and rebalance your body and mind. And in the meantime, I also learned how to do this treatment as well on distance, which means that we do not actually need to be in the same room. So when you're either like traveling or you're not living in my area or not even in the same country, you can still benefit from this treatment. And so far I have had persons who were in the Netherlands, living in the US, other parts of Switzerland and Indonesia even, but there are more countries coming up such as Ireland and Hong Kong. So I would like to give you actually a little bit more of an introduction how to do this or how this method works on distance. And so how it works is that you will be at you will be at home. You will be either laying down on your sofa, on your bed, a yoga mat. You can even sit in a chair. And I am here in my own home, visualizing that you are in front of me. And actually, you would have a picture of you, and I visualize you will be in the same room with me. So we would connect through the PC, like Zoom, Skype, even maybe the mobile when we are using WhatsApp. And I also would like to give you like examples of people I've treated, so it becomes a little bit more tangible. So there was one person that I treated, he was actually asleep. And with this, I actually want to indicate as well that you do not even have to hear the sound. It is not necessary for us actually to be connected. So this person I treated was when he was sleeping, and he has an irritable bowel disease, which means that he has a lot of stomach pain. He had some issues as well with his throat. And he mentioned to me the next morning that he slept super well. He noticed that he did not cough during the night, which you normally would do. He had no stomach pain, he had no throat pain anymore. He felt good. Of course, this is a process, so this will not be, resolved in one treatment. More treatments will need to follow. There was another person I treated, she lives in the US, and we decided to connect through the internet, but use no sound at all. And after the session, I asked her how she felt, and she indicated that she felt some tingling in her face, here underneath her eyes, her nostrils, or not the nostrils, but how is this part called? You know, Patrick, sorry. Oh, you're on mute.
Yes, you mean here on the cheeks?
Yes.
So under the cheeks. Yeah.
Yes. I forgot the word for it, but it is, yeah.
There are also sinuses.
Exactly, thank you. Just the sinus. So she felt some tingling there. She felt something in her throat, near her chest, or near her heart. And while she actually indicated where she felt the tingling, she started to realize that she has like physical issues. So she has been, walking around with these issues for a longer time, that she actually was no longer, conscious that she had those areas that did not really properly, were open for her to breathe or anything. So that is a very nice experience. I just want to, throw it out there for you to understand how it actually works. And how it actually can work for not being in the same room, but not even, having to hear the sound. And because I just started to give this new service, I also would like to give a promotion. I would like to give you 50% discount on your very first remote treatment for the month of March. And you can send me an email to info@stepforwardandbecomewhole.com. So I would like to talk a little bit more about sacred crystal sound. Patrick and I have done already 3 videos, which you can find on my YouTube channel called Blue Lotus. And today Patrick would like to talk about a little bit, a different form of sacred sound. And before I start asking some questions, I will introduce him. So Patrick Moulin is the author of The Little Book of Oneness, which is available on Amazon. Besides being a writer, he also gives private consultations, which he calls Akashic readings. Patrick gives these private readings in person or over the internet, but also to open groups. He travels between Central America and Switzerland to give workshops, Dolores Cannon quantum healing hypnosis sessions, individual energy sessions, and since 2017 he began to train people in the amazing Sacred Crystal Sound method. So hi Patrick, thank you very much for being back on my channel.
Hello Cindy, thank you for having me again. And it starts to get into a series of interviews. It's very interesting. I'm very happy to be here, yes.
So today you mentioned that you would like to talk a little bit more about the new method that came up. Could you explain to us what this method is, and it was like a kind of introduction what it is and how it looks like?
Yes. So the method is called Sacred Auto-Tuning, and it is on one hand, it's like an add-on module for Sacred Crystal Sound practitioners. They can learn this and add it to their specializations that they have already. If they can, let's say, they use Sacred Crystal Sound for groups or remote, as you just have explained. By the way, nice experiences. Or they can treat with Sacred Crystal Sound. They can also work with animals. There is a lady, she's doing that, and she was with her husband. She was really impressed about the reactions of the animals, and they have started to film this. They want to document this, and at some point they will put this up on their website, and we'll see, maybe we put that up also on the sacredcrystalsound.net website. And so these are specializations, and Sacred Auto-Tuning, this new module, is just one more addition. But this one has some differences. This is one that can also be learned by therapists who have not taken the Sacred Crystal Sound Practitioner course. So that's something new to this. This one, I will mention that in a moment how this works, but this one has really a different spin, you could say. At any rate, it is for professionals who have a practice, be it psychologists or energy or therapists dealing with some form of energies or alternative treatments. It doesn't matter what they do, but they are, let's say, they're already at work with whatever methods they use for their clients. The reason why this is like this is they know how to handle clients, customers. They know how to interact when different reactions are coming up in a client. They know how to hold the space, you could say. And so for this method, Sacred Auto-Tuning, this is a requirement. So it's not for anybody, it is for professionals, you could say. Now, having said that, Sacred Auto-Tuning is not rocket science. It's not something that takes a long time to learn. It's just a few lessons, it consists of 3 words: Sacred Auto-Tuning. Sacred, we have seen with Sacred Crystal Sound. It's the same meaning. It means to make whole or to make complete. And that just indicates that there's a certain state of awareness involved in the, you call this, in the sound making. We can also call this the empowerment of sound. It's a necessity or a necessary component as part of this method of sacred crystal sound, but also in sacred auto tuning. So that's one aspect. The other is auto tuning. Tuning means optimizing or rebalancing. Auto means self. Now, here's the fascinating thing. What shifts is, compared to sacred crystal sound, standard treatment is that it's the client who makes the sound. It's not the practitioner. So the therapist or the practitioner who has learned this sacred auto-tuning module or method holds the space and guides the client in the steps of making sounds in a specific way. They learn how to guide the client to make sounds in a specific way, and it's connected to making sounds for particular areas in the body. It's as if you focus the sound there, as if you tune in the sound into these areas or particular areas of the body, and this has incredible effects. It's you could say the client firsthand experiences empowerment, meaning it's the client who does it, and it's a self-empowering experience. First, perhaps there may be some blockages here and there, and then realizing or experiencing how blockages start to get released. This has all kinds of effects, and that is something very interesting to continue to observe what clients have to say after the treatments. And so this is just in short a description of sacred auto-tuning. The main difference is for therapists, number one. Number two, in the treatment phase itself, which, by the way, doesn't take so much time, it's maybe 20, 30 minutes plus some rest. So let's say 45 minutes. It is the client who's doing the toning in a specific way, targeting specific areas of the body. And that has immense effects. And we are announcing this now, coming out with this now. This has been in the making. In the making means unannounced. It has been on for a year. And end of last year, I've trained a psychologist in this, and she's really happy and impressed with the effects it has on clients. And you might want to interview her at some point. It's a very interesting thing. She has a lot to say about the reactions of clients. So that in itself is worth an interview. We might do a follow-up, but since then I've decided, okay, it's time to make this a formal training and offer it. And I'm happy to announce it takes 2 + 2 lessons. 2 lessons means one after the other, and then spread over some months, 2 more lessons, which essentially are review lessons, fine-tuning lessons like this. So it's really not a big course, you could say. And the difference between the method when sacred crystal sound practitioners get it versus a therapist who has not learned this method, there are differences in the method, yes, because sacred crystal sound practitioners also utilize their crystals. That is something that the therapist may not have and is not taught. So there's some differences, but the effects are amazing. Like this psychologist has not learned sacred crystal sound practice. So she just came in like this. She has experienced it herself, on herself, yes. But she's not a practitioner of sacred crystal sound to treat other clients. But with say SAT, she can now use it to treat her own clients, and she's doing that in her practice, and the effects are quite impressive. So that is in short just an introduction to the method. Does that help? Is that clear?
Yes, it was clear. Thank you. Sorry, I had to cough in the meantime.
That's okay.
So, if are there any requirements for the for the therapist or for the practitioner, the sacred crystal sound practitioner?
other than that, they are professionals doing, like, having regularly clients. There's no requirement, so they can take this course and then apply this with their own client base or new clients. As from the side of a client, there are no requirements other than common sense requirements. I mean, common sense means somebody has to come sober and all that kind of normal kind of limitations, obviously. But besides that, there are no requirements from their side either. They don't need to be opera singers. They don't need to be able to sing at all. If they can talk, it means they can actually create sound. So that's enough what they need to know and to have. So everybody has that more or less, and that's enough. So you could say the requirements are really low.
Oh, that is fantastic.
Yeah, it's open. It's in that sense open.
Yeah.
And we like simplicity, and it's in the simplicity where there's power.
Yeah.
It may be, there are life sometimes situations where things are not as simple, but in terms of this type of treatments, it's astonishing how the client experiences self-empowerment. Suddenly, through his own projections of sound, things start to shift in him. And this has psychological effects in him. It can have physiological effects in him in various ways. It can have emotional effects in him. So this is a highly interesting development that this came out.
So, seen from a client's perspective, because you said that he or she will need to the tone, make the tones himself or herself. How does this work for the client? Because most of us, when I look at myself, when I start to do the sacred crystal sound method, when I learned that, it was like, well, where do I get the sound from?
Yes, they are guided in a specific way by the practitioner who learns this. But as they are being guided, the sound comes out. But what is interesting is, depending on the individual condition, they may hold certain blockages in certain areas. The sound might not come out, they just can't, because there may be blockages. And as they begin to release the blockages, the sound comes out stronger and stronger. And then they experience this firsthand, how an opening occurs. And it's tangible. There is a direct experience happening in the client as he tones, as he focuses on a certain area. I give you an example. People who hold back on saying what they really think, or hold back their emotions, they have usually some blockages up here. If they try to tone, they might feel the blockage, and they may not have been aware of it before, literally not been aware of it before, and they feel like, oh my God, I can't do it.
Yeah.
But with the guidance of the practitioners, it comes, gradually comes. These are shifts, energetic shifts in themselves that occur. From a Chinese perspective, you would say, oh, something happens with the qi, something flows more. You can adopt different perspectives. It's not so important. The important thing is the experience of the practitioner, of the client. And suddenly they experience, oh, they can voice it. They can voice it. And they can voice the sound. It comes out. And that has effects afterwards in their life. So that doesn't necessarily mean instant. Maybe in some cases it does have instant effects. In other cases, they need a few runs, you could say, a few runs and a few treatments. And what we have seen is this is a method where it is always the client that dictates how much he wants to do the work. But in this case, he comes for a series of treatments to the therapist or practitioner. And after that series, it settles. Body needs to integrate, and then they let it rest for about 3 months. And then it's up to the client. Do you want to come for the next series of treatments? And if the client says, yes, I'm ready, they go again. And what they will discover is a new layer within themselves when they do the toning. It goes deeper now. It goes deeper. So they do a second series. It's like level 2, you could say. And then after a set of roughly 10 sessions, they let it rest again for 3 months. And if they are ready for the third, then they come for the third series of 10. And then it's about a year that went around, and they're in a different place with this. So that is how, from a client's perspective, how he will progress through a series of treatments. But it's up to the client if he wants to go that far. Some may say, I'm fine with one series. Others say, I want to try the second series too, and then they have enough for a while and maybe come back later. So it's really up to the client how far they want to go. But it's discovering, with each series, it's discovering a new layer. And once they have done that, once we get there in this way, and the therapists or practitioners have learned this and have guided the clients through a whole year in this way, we will review again, because there may be some additional training coming for them. Okay, what next? Where do we go from here? So that's still open, but this is at the moment where it stands with sacred auto-tuning.
Super, thank you. So when a therapist or a sacred crystal sound practitioner would like to get the training from you, how will that work? Will we need to be with you like in person?
Yes, that's a good question. If somebody comes and says, I would like to learn this, then, and there are no other SAT practitioners, sacred auto-tuning practitioners, in his or her region, then it's only possible to do this one-on-one. They have to be in the same place. I can't do this online with them if it's one person. Now, let's say it's a group of people. There are several. Preferably, it should be even numbers. So minimal 2, but better 4 or 6, something like this, or 10, whatever it is. They can practice on each other. And then the possibility opens up I can do this online, so they don't need to travel. Of course, the limitation is the practitioners who learn this, the people who are, let's say, in one city, they have to meet physically because they have to practice on each other. So they need to meet physically. It's not that everybody can do this online over the internet and they all sit in their own homes, and it is not working that way. What works is I can do it, I can do the teaching online, but they have to gather physically in one place like this.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes. Yes.
So how long will then the entire project, how long it will last? So you were like practitioners for them to learn the entire method. So it will be like more or less a year, including all the sessions with the client, or?
Actually, they learn it very fast. They learn within 2 lessons. They can already go and apply it. But obviously, after 2 lessons, you have your guinea pigs, you do test runs, and then we have lesson 3. Lesson 3 is review. Obviously, they bring back their experiences, we discuss it, we do some fine-tuning, they may have questions, and in between they may have also questions, and we are in contact, and they can write me, and then I would answer them like this. So it's in that sense also guided, but actually meeting again either through Skype or some tool, internet, Zoom or whatever, is done down the road after about a couple of months. So lesson 3 or 3 months, lesson 3, the review lesson. And then again later, we do another review lesson. So you can say it's a format of 4 meetings in this way. But after the first meeting and they get the method, they are let loose with the method. And then they have their guinea pigs. Lesson 2, we review and give further tuning and information. Then we let them run again, and they do some of their own experiences. And then that means after another 3 months, 2-3 months, we have the next lesson, lesson 3, and then again after a while comes lesson 4. So this is how it's scheduled. It's very short. It's in that sense, it's not an ongoing 1-year course or any of this. It's actually very short, and that makes it practical for therapists who may be busy with this and that, and or for sacred crystal sound practitioners. So if it's a person alone who wants to learn this alone, one-on-one, yes, we need to meet in person. I need to show the person, they need to experience it themselves, what that thing means, that method. And I need to be there with them, and I show them. If it is a group, we can also resort to do this online.
Yeah. Sounds fantastic and life-changing for the client as well.
Oh yeah, this is. I'm excited to hear how well this was received. How well this was received, and so yes, I hope you get to interview this lady, the psychologist. She can then give more experiences of her own, what she experienced doing the method on clients and what the reaction was. So that's going to be very interesting. This is the place here now just to announce it and explain a little bit what this method is, how long it takes, all of that. But I think in the follow-up would be good to hear really tangible results. What did they say? What did they experience and all of that?
Yeah, I will interview her. So we will have to, we are on our way to set a date and time to do the interview.
Awesome, that's going to be very interesting. For the person, for any therapist or sacred crystal sound practitioner who hears this now, check out, I can't vouch for for this interview that's going to be off the moon, but I'm very confident this is really good thing because she has made really good experiences. Go and listen to that, and then you can have, if you are interested in this, you have a better background. Should I do this or not? Take the course. Or also for for clients, if they are interested in taking a session, then that would be the case. By the way, sacred auto tuning works one-on-one in the same room. There's no remote part.
Okay.
Intended at this stage for this method. So they have to come to the therapist or practitioner.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. I'm looking forward how this is all going to, develop and how it might be spread, in different areas. Therapists, practitioners who would like to do this method.
Yes, it's to me it is fascinating to see that in this part, it's like reversing the process. Before we have different applications of sacred crystal sounds where it's the practitioner who is initiating the whole process, and the client is viewed on the surface more passive. It's there. The client lays down on a, let's say, massage table or thick cushions on the floor, and it's just enjoying and relaxing, and things happen to the client. But it's a bit more the passive side, you could say. The effects are seen afterwards. And now here's the opposite. It's the client who becomes active and does the actual toning. And that is kind of unheard of. It's a really nice complementary form of interacting with clients. So it's exciting. And this whole thing is keep coming out with new applications. So it's like the universe of sacred crystal sound treatments is forming. Anyway, it's beautiful.
Super nice. Yeah, I'm looking forward. Is there anything that you would like to add that I forgot to ask?
Perhaps one can say that these videos that we have done, the 3 videos that are on your YouTube Lotus channel, I have linked to these 3 videos on the sacredcrystalsounds.net website. Is the main website for Sacred Crystal Sound. They are there as well, so people can go and come from there to the videos that you have on YouTube. And I would likely put also this one there, so they can come on both ends, either directly on YouTube to your channel or through the sacredcrystalsound.net website. And if anyone is interested, just contact me either through the site or through email directly, which probably will list underneath the video on YouTube.
Yeah.
And let's see where we take it from here. If you have any questions, write to us and let's see what happens.
Yes, super. Yeah, please. If you have any questions, any comments, if you would like to know a little bit more about either Sacred Crystal Sound or Sacred Auto Tuning, let us know and we will come back together again and we do another video covering all your questions and comments.
That we could do. I didn't even think of this. Yes, we could actually do a follow-up. If there's enough questions coming in about it, we could do a follow-up.
Yeah, easily.
Yes, it's a good idea.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much again for giving us insight on a new method and to bring this into the world, helping people. I'm sure that, we are, of course, if you would not have received this method, we would not have been ready for it either, So clients, therapists, we are ready to receive this. And I would like to thank you very much for for being back on my channel. And for everybody who's interested, please reach out to us. And if you're interested in actually practicing this method, reach out to Patrick, and I will indeed mention his contact details underneath the video. And until then, see you soon.
Thank you very much, and everybody enjoy and have a good day.
Yes.
Bye.